This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association. Your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Thursday, December 21st, 2023, and we're so glad you could join us for today's episode. In today's show, I will be joined by Matt Sowder with the Mosaic Company. Also, we will have a check of the ag weather outlook, but first, let's run down the closing markets.
It's time now for the Ag Matters PM Closing Market Summary, your source for market analysis and settlement prices from the day's trade in Chicago, courtesy of the folks at agmarket.net.
At the end of another trading day, I'm joined by Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net. Kaden, getting ready to go into that holiday break, but what did we see take place in the grains here today?
Yeah, Christmas isn't here yet on the calendar, but as far as the trade's concerned, sure kind of seems that way. Pretty quiet, really, most of the week. Today continuing to be that way. You know, core market finally catching a little bit of footing today. Looking like we're going to close green for the first time this week, but up only a couple cents there. Beans continuing their slide back and forth, back and forth. They're going to close down about 11 or so. So, again, pretty light volume today. I don't know that anything that I've seen in the market I'd really put a ton of stock in. But, you know, just continuing to, like I said, waiting for a little break here coming up this weekend.
And is this pretty natural, Kaden, for when we do have a time period where we're going to have some days off from trading to kind of ease into it and we don't see a ton of action right before that break?
Yeah, 100%. This week, certainly, and next week, I imagine it'll be certainly the same way as you got a shortened week with Christmas on Sunday or Monday, I mean, and then coming into the New Year as well. So, the calendar wise doesn't help anything. And also, you know, on the grain side, just a lack of reports, you know, that December report's usually pretty quiet. The trade just kind of holds its breath until that January 12th report or whatever date is next year. So that's what everybody's got circled on their calendar. You'll kind of see the market ramp up, you know, the week going into that thing. But this week and next week, pretty quiet for sure.
Let's touch on some big picture items then. While we don't have necessarily a ton happening in the ag marketplace, let's head to Central and South America. First of all, in Central America, we now know that because of the migrant crisis, there's 2 railroad crossings that are disrupted right now, and it's causing trouble with moving corn into Mexico from the United States. And then to the south of that in South America, could you tell us kind of what the latest has happened with the weather there and kind of the situation we're looking at in Brazil? It seems like it's gotten a little bit better.
Yeah, I agree 100% with Brazil. We're definitely in a better situation than we were a month ago. You know, I guess it's good for them. Certainly, our market wouldn't mind if they're a little bit worse off, maybe. But yeah, you know, most reports down there, like you said, weather has certainly improved. Forecasts that have been showing rain have been resulting in rain, so that kind of gives them a good feeling as well. Overall, probably took a little bit of top yield off of, you know, their soybean crop overall. But the bottom line is they're still going to be basically a record crop down there. And that's not great for our export program as well as the world numbers as a whole. So, yeah, South America definitely improved. And I think that's why you see the bean market, you know, struggling to stay above 13 when we were pushing 14 last month.
And kind of the flip side of that, Kaden, something we've been talking about here in the office. Yes, if Brazil does get a little bit of a haircut on those yield numbers, it actually has been very good weather in Argentina. And while Argentina doesn't, you know, have the volume of Brazil, they are going to maybe even things out just a little bit with the good weather in Argentina.
Yeah, 100%. It was almost flip-flop last year where Argentina was the poorer one, but Brazil still had a really nice crop, and South America as a whole came out positive year over year. They were growing a bigger crop. I think you're going to see that again this year. As I said, Brazil's still going to be better than last year as they continue to grow acreage. Argentina is doing very well this year as well, especially compared to last year. So South America as a whole, year over year, as you said, continuing to grow. And even though the U.S. balance sheet bean wise is pretty tight, the world balance sheet just is not. And that's why we're struggling to see the bean market really get any footing and get going.
Let's switch over to the protein complex now. We're going to get a lot of information in that sector tomorrow as we have the hogs and pigs report, we have the cattle on feed report, and the cold storage report all comes out tomorrow afternoon. Now, then there will not be trading on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday because of Christmas, and it will roll over into Tuesday. Before we get to all that, Kaden, what did we see take place in the livestock today?
Well, in my opinion, you saw a lot of people exiting positions maybe that they had on this week or beforehand. As you said, a lot of reports coming out tomorrow, and then no time to trade it for almost 4 days. That's kind of like I don't even know asking for trouble, getting a bunch of stuff on ahead of a report that you're not able to trade the next day. So overall, fat cattle down $1.60 today, feeders down 235. We're still kind of sitting right on support. Moving average wise for both of those markets, I feel okay there. We didn't do any major technical damage today. I really just think it was money flow, taking profit heading into those reports. Hogs closed basically even today on the April contract. So again, kind of a wait and see with bated breath tomorrow what happens, and then figure it out next week.
As we finally did get a little bit of an uptick to the upside for the hogs, do you think that's a natural market correction after they were down for so long?
I do. The hog market overall, and I'm going off the April, kind of putting in a double bottom here in the last month to 6 weeks. I'd like to see that. You would hope once you put in that double bottom, then you start making new highs. We have not done that yet. But just looking at the chart, we continue to deal with the 10-day and 20-day. That's the same that we've been having on the cattle markets. It's providing support once you get above it, or resistance if you get below it. We're still kind of hanging around above it. So again, we'll wait and see what the numbers say. But from a technical standpoint, which is where I like to operate on the hog side, I do think there's some room to run to the upside if we can get decent numbers coming out tomorrow.
Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net, our guest here today. Kaden, what's the best way for our viewers to get in touch and to personalize their marketing plan?
Yeah, just go to our website, agmarket.net. You can find myself or anyone from our team there, get started on a marketing plan as we head into a new year, as well as register and check out our conference coming up in Nashville, February 4th or 5th. Going to be a star-studded event from the ag marketing side, so pretty excited for that.
Kaden Sweeney, thank you so much for the time here today. Have a great rest of your week and a Merry Christmas as well.
Yeah, same to you, man. Have a great Christmas.
Thank you to Kaden Sweeney of agmarket.net for our closing market analysis. Let's turn our attention now to the closing numbers, and those numbers can be found under the markets page on our website at iowaagnet.com.
March corn up 2 3/4 at 472 1/2. January soybeans down 11 even at 12.97 1/4. January soybean meal down $4.50 at 395.40. January soybean oil down $1.52 at 49.04. Chicago wheat up 2 1/2 at 612 1/2. Minneapolis wheat down 3 3/4 at 714 1/4. Kansas City hard red wheat up 1 3/4 at 626 3/4. March oats down 15 1/4 at 363 1/2. On the Merc, February live cattle down $1.62 at 168.67. January feeder cattle down $2.35 at 221.70. February lean hogs up 42 cents at 70.65. February pork cutout unchanged at 81.72, and Class 3 milk down 14 cents at 15.46.
And that wraps up our closing market coverage here on Ag Matters PM. It is time now to take a break and hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff. And when we come back, I will be joined by Matt Sowder. He is the Director of Field Solutions for Mosaic Biosciences. That's coming up here on Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
In today's episode of Ag Matters PM, I'm joined by Matt Sowder with the Mosaic Company. We talk about the biologicals available from the Mosaic Company, who should be using them, and which type of operation should be employing biologicals.
Mark Magnuson with the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, and I'm here with Matt Sowder with the Mosaic Company. Matt, could you tell me your role within the organization, please?
Mark, I'm the Director of Field Solutions for Mosaic Biosciences.
So biosciences, I hear the word bio, I immediately think biologicals. Am I on the right track?
That's where we live and play. We have a great time in that. Mosaic Biosciences was formed in the past year by Mosaic, and this is the beachhead by which we'll explore and bring to market the biological products that are going to improve return on investment for all our customers.
So when it comes to biologicals, I often hear that you can have all the biologicals you want in your profile, but if you don't have the data, the research to back it up, then it doesn't really work so well with farmers. Do you find that to be the case?
Have we talked before? I mean, I kind of feel like that's a little bit of what we believe. The thing about biologicals is it's a very diffuse space, and it's still just it's a frontier. There's so much we don't know about what happens below the soil surface, and yet the things we do know we found to be sometimes inconsistent. And so the reality is that for farmers to make the best possible decision, they should look for suppliers that are going to bring a clear data proposition, a clear value proposition based on science, and then make sure that they have a relationship with them to say, I've got integrity behind the products that are going to be there.
One area that's still pretty cloudy for me when it comes to biologicals is, do you look at the end result that you're hoping to achieve with a biological, or do you look at what you are dealing with right now and then apply the biological to try to fix something?
That's a great question. I'm going to try and answer that for you, Mark. But most of all, I think the purpose behind a biological should be the same. Our currency is still return on investment. So as a producer, I think I find it difficult to say that we can make an investment strictly for the purpose of soil health without seeing a return. You have to have a way to improve what we're doing. There are other places in the world, other continents, other countries where we run into people that sometimes are hindered by, I shouldn't say hindered, but they have to adhere to a government regulatory framework that limits their ability to put out fertilizer and to do the right thing. And as stewards, we all want to do the right thing. But the fact of the matter is, unless we make a return on investment, I think it's a challenge to say, why would I do it? Now, that being said, the other things I would look for once you get past the return on investment is it durable? Is it reliable? And what's that economic piece? So if you get all three of those pieces lined up, that's really where I would say you need to make a decision about whether to invest.
And then another question I have is, should farmers view biologicals as something that they add kind of as the cherry on top to their operation, or is it something that is a necessity for their operation?
No, I think today it's clearly an optional piece. There is a strategy. There is a question about what does it do. And when we talk about biologicals, unfortunately, there's just so many different ways to get from point A to point B. Number one, biologicals are a couple of different things that emulate natural biological processes. That's why they're called biologicals. And if you think about that, you can get there with live microbes, you can get there with biostimulants, you can get there sometimes with these digests or fulvic acid, complexing agent type products. All of those can be valid, but the reality is going from point A to point B has to fit in your operation, right? And so from that standpoint, if you're focused on nutrient use efficiency, make sure you're very granular on what is it we're trying to accomplish. Do I get a return on nutrient use efficiency? Is it return on fertilizer investment? Is it return on investment overall? Is it just a yield bump? All of the above. So I think there's lots of ways to peel that onion, and unfortunately, it's a great question. I just think that we may not have time to answer all of it at this time.
Have you found that growers in Iowa, our growers in our state, have adopted biologicals and kind of take them on, hit the ground running? Have they been excited to use them?
The growers that are used, there's a lot of people that are excited, and it's exciting to see the adoption rates that are happening. But the fact of the matter is that non-use is the number one competitor in the industry. The vast majority of acres are relatively untouched from a biological standpoint.
Matt Sowder with the Mosaic Company. Is there anything else you'd like to let our audience know about when it comes to the biologicals that you have available, the things that you're working on with the Mosaic Company?
Listen, 2 products, PowerCoat, BioPath, great products for biological enhancement of nutrient use efficiency. Feel free to reach out to your local retailer for Mosaic products, or you can reach out at cropnutrition.com.
Matt Sowder, thanks so much for the interesting discussion here today, and have a great rest of the Trade Talk show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Mark.
Thank you to Matt Sowder, the Director of Field Solutions for Mosaic Biosciences. It is time now for a check of the ag weather outlook. Well, the weather forecast a little bit on repeat for the immediate future, as today, fog, overcast, and chances for some very light rain in the forecast throughout the day for a large part of the state of Iowa. And those conditions will continue this evening and also on Friday. So let's turn our attention now to the National Weather Service and what's in store for the next 24 hours.
As you can see from the National Weather Service, cloudy with chances for patchy drizzle and light rain chances today. High temperatures expected 41 to 55. For this evening, chance for rain and patchy fog with low temperatures expected 39 to 47. And the forecast continues to look pretty similar for tomorrow. Cloudy, foggy, and a chance of rain. Highs expected to be 46 to 55. And now for our affiliate weather map for Friday. Cherokee, patchy drizzle and patchy fog, then partly sunny. High of around 49. Shenandoah, chance for rain and patchy fog, then mostly cloudy, high of 55. Des Moines, chance for rain and areas of fog, high around 51. Rain and patchy fog in Albia on Friday with a high around 52. Waterloo, chance for rain and patchy fog, high of 46. Clinton, chance for rain, then rain, high of around 47.
For a more detailed forecast in your part of the state, make sure and check with your local Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network affiliate. And that brings us to the end of the Ag Weather Outlook. That also brings us to the end of this episode of Ag Matters PM. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. You can also follow us on social media on Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, and X. And don't forget to follow along on YouTube as well at the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. And while you're there, subscribe, click on the notification icon as well. That will let you know whenever we have any new content available. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For Riley Smith, Dustin Huffman, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.